Started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19 he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
I'm Steve Eiserman of the Detroit Red Wings, and I think every child in Michigan deserves a safe, healthy, and happy childhood. Can we build a state where Children Trust Michigan isn't just a name, but something our kids believe? Please support Children Trust Michigan as the voice for children and families by visiting the website to learn more.
One in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
You're listening to your radio homes for the Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. Today's edition of the Megacast begins now. Welcome to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. You can always find more information about us and join us online every single day, civiccentertv.com/megacast. That's where you'll find all the information you need to know about all of our partnering stations, including those in your local hometown communities here in Oakland County. Joining us live every single day and joining us live to tape in the afternoons and over the weekends. And learn more about how you can find us on demand, both full episodes and each individual segment. All the info you need to know about the Megacast every single day is on civiccentertv.com/megacast. You'll be able to find everything you need to know about watching us live, listening to us live, finding us on demand on your own time, and any other updates on civiccentertv.com/megacast. Another great place to go each and every day is going to our local news page, civiccentertv.com. Click on local news at the top of the page on your computer web browser. Certain tablets also will have our regular website up there, and it'll be right dead center in the middle, civiccentertv.com, or on your mobile phone and other devices like some tablets that will pull up our mobile website. That'll be in a drop-down menu on one of the sides of the screen, and you'll just, again, select local news to keep up to date with each one of our top stories making news across Oakland County and throughout the state of Michigan each and every day before our live editions of the Megacast at 10 a.m. Our top story this morning comes from Arpon Lobo at the Detroit Free Press. Just a week from Friday, Michigan's new distracted driving law will go into effect, aimed at curbing the rate of distracted driving-related accidents and deaths in the Great Lakes state. The new law will affect how you are able to use your cell phone and other devices while you are operating your vehicle. Now, obviously, it should go without saying you shouldn't use any of these devices while you're driving. In an ideal situation, you are always having both hands on the wheel and both eyes on the road, focused on driving, not using your tablets, your phones, or other devices while you're driving. It's a bad idea. It's dangerous. It's stupid. You should be focusing on the road. This new law takes that concept of distracted driving, expands the definition to be a little bit more well defined than it's been before, so that law enforcement as well as drivers understand exactly what it means to be a distracted driver. That takes all of this into effect, as well as puts new penalties in place beginning on June 30th for those that may violate this law, and creates new fines, new penalties, and you may have to pay a fine and do some community service after you get pulled over for distracted driving. So keep in mind, some changes are coming. The new law takes that distracted driving, defines it a little better, talks about added penalties, while also not restricting what often needs to be done while you're operating your car, making phone calls, or following along with some form of navigation software as you are moving about your community, going to and from work and other places. That's why many are referring to this new law not necessarily as a distracted driving law, but as the hands-free cell phone use law, because it permits the use of a cell phone while driving for answering calls or texts only if you are not using your hands to do so. So that means if you have a program like Android Auto in newer vehicles, or Apple CarPlay, or you have hands-free methods such as having your phone on a mount in your car that the phone call comes up and you simply swipe up to answer the phone call, that is permitted under this new law in the state of Michigan. You don't have to physically pick up the phone, look down, answer it in order to answer a phone call or to answer a text message. You may be able to do so by using means that are already established in your car, like text-to-speech software that is in Android Auto or Apple CarPlay or other apps that your car may be equipped with in order to answer those phone calls and those text messages. Under the new laws, drivers in Michigan are prohibited from holding their phones to make phone calls, and you must have it on a mount if you don't have an in-car connectivity app, and only use it to execute the call. Again, it's not to hold the phone and look down at and look at other details as you're talking to people on your phone, looking up information. It's simply, if you don't have an in-car app like Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, as we mentioned, to swipe up and take that phone call if it's on a mount, on a physical mount. The phone on the mount, kind of like this, swipe up, answer the phone call. That's what's going on if you're watching on our TV or our streaming broadcasts. That's what's permitted, not physically picking up your phone, looking down, answering the phone call, answering a text message, whatever the case may be. That is not permitted under this law. So it includes those of you who do so responsibly at red lights only. Even doing that under this new law is considered distracted driving. So even if you're at a red light, you're a few cars back from the front of the line and the light has been red for 10 seconds, you pick up your phone, you're scrolling through your text messages, that is illegal under this new law that goes into effect a week from Friday in the state of Michigan. Again, June 30th is the first day that these new laws go into effect. If you have to pick up your phone or look at it even for a short or extended period of time, you'll be in violation of the law and subject to all of the fines and other punitive action that may come along with those violations, which are considered civil infractions in most communities. So in that case, if you do have to answer a text message, you do have to look up some information, obviously, goes without saying, pull over. Pull over into a parking lot, go somewhere else, take a look at that information, then get back out on the road. That's the only way that you can get around this law. Do what you got to do, searching information, keep up that communication, however you may need to do so without violating the distracted driving law, and more importantly, without putting yourself and others at risk on the road from distracted driving. There are exceptions, however, but not many. The most important is emergency exceptions for those that are out on the roads every single day, permitting traditional use for calls to report a crime or other emergency like an accident or a fire or some other obstruction on the road, as well as using permission to use your devices in your hands for personnel on the job as a first responder, such as EMS, police, and firefighters who need to be able to use certain mobile devices like tablets or computers and so on to locate emergency responses, to enter information, to communicate with dispatch, and so on. This same goes for utility workers from DTE and consumers and other utilities that may be accessing information related to working on infrastructure such as our local power grid. All of those are permitted uses of actually holding a physical device or operating a physical device with your hands while on the road under this new law. That does not apply, however, to everyday citizens. You're not able to answer your work emails because you have to answer a work email on your drive into work. That's going to have to wait, or again, like I said, pull over. You're going to have to just simply pull over, answer that email, get back out on the road, which you should be doing anyway. That's got to be noted here. You should be doing that already. This shouldn't really be a major change to anybody driving out on the road each and every day. If you're already doing these kinds of things on a daily basis and now you're just simply going to get a fine for it, you're already doing something that's a little bit, I'll just say what I'm thinking here. It's boneheaded. You shouldn't be doing it. You should probably be changing your habits to keep yourself and others safe on the road. And now, in this case, even more motivation to not lose money and potentially even lose some time having to donate community service in order to be able to continue driving on our roads. In terms of penalties, they won't come cheap. Your first offense under these new laws would be a fine of $100 for a civil infraction or up to 16 hours of community service, with the next offense rising those fines to $250 and upwards of 24 hours of community service appointed by a court. That would all be, the first fine would be $100 and 16 hours roughly of community service. Each fine after that would be $250 and upwards of 24 hours appointed by the court. If the incident leading to the infraction involves an accident, you are answering an email on the phone, on your phone, and best case scenario is you just rear end someone in front of you ever so slightly, and it's some damage to their car, but it's a car accident nonetheless. Nobody's hurt. Nothing really major has happened other than some damage to your car and their car. That counts as an accident. Under these laws, you're looking at about double the penalties of a simple distracted driving infraction if you're pulled over. In addition, those of you in positions of need who are driving, such as bus drivers, commercial drivers, and the like, your fines will be even heavier than those for civilian drivers just in their everyday single-use vehicles. Lastly, more than 3 violations of these distracted driving laws not only will come with the fines and potentially community service, but also will land you in a court-mandated driver's training course in order for you to maintain your driver's license in the state of Michigan and avoid suspension. And that being said, the more of these you get, the more likely it is you're going to have your driver's license suspended, possibly even revoked, if you continue to show that you are a danger on the road from driving distracted. Case in point, keep your hands on the wheel, keep your eyes on the road, and even more focused on that now when these laws go into effect. Again, that's a week from Friday, June 30th. These new distracted driving laws, the hands-free phone use laws in the state of Michigan, go into effect. So now's the best time as ever to get into those better habits of not driving distracted, not using your phones while driving, answering emails, answering text messages, getting used to putting your phone up on a mount to answer phone calls and not looking at it otherwise. Or better yet, keeping it stowed away and have a policy of I don't answer phone calls when I'm driving. I don't answer text messages when I'm driving. If it's an emergency, you'll call me multiple times and I'll answer after that, and we'll talk hands-free in our cars going forward. More information on this distracted driving law from a very well-written article from Arpon Lobo and the team at the Detroit Free Press is listed on our website today, civiccentertv.com, on our local news page. Click through on either the headline, the thumbnail picture, or the small link at the bottom of what we have posted on our website to read the entire article in full from the team at the Detroit Free Press. Highly encourage you to do that and support them and the great work they're doing each and every day to keep you updated on these and other new laws on our roads and beyond in the state of Michigan. Additionally, making headlines today on our local news page from the Detroit News is Maisha Johnson. After rising 12 cents between 2 weeks ago and last week Monday, gas prices in Michigan in the third week of June kicked off on Monday, going down 7 cents per gallon, tracking closer to along the lines of the national average of $3.57 per gallon. That's $1.60 lower still than 1 year ago, where gas prices were over $5.50 per gallon on average. The good news in that regard may continue at the pump as long as the demand remains relatively low, says AAA's Adrian Woodland to the Detroit News. That being said, you should expect the demand to remain relatively low. That being said, the question has to come up, should you expect demand to remain relatively low as it currently is? Perhaps not in the coming weeks, considering we are rapidly approaching the 4th of July weekend, and with that holiday landing on a Tuesday, that means that long weekend may be ever so slightly longer, and mean potentially more travel. More travel equals more driving equals more gas being used. Therefore, more gas is being used, more gas is needed, higher demand, same supply, basic economics, higher prices. That being said, that's the future. For now, Adrian Woodland from AAA says prices should remain relatively stagnant this week, barring any rise in demand that happens suddenly or extenuating circumstances within the industry, a trash fire in Omaha. Something like that. I don't know. Other things that happen all the time, or continued changes in production of oil in Saudi Arabia that we talked about last week a couple of times with Dr. Michael Greiner, and we talked about in our headline segments during much of our shows last week. If those continue to change as Saudi Arabia tries to further leverage their power in the oil market, that could also potentially cause some further changes. But the expectation right now from experts overseeing this sector of our economy, it looks like our gas prices will remain relatively stable for the time being this week. AAA also says the economy is playing a big role in the fluctuation of our prices at the pump. As I said, 3 weeks ago, demand went up as we were right around the Memorial Day holiday. And then last week, Monday, prices were up 12 cents from the week after Memorial Day, and now down another 7 cents. So we're up and down and up and down. They're going all over the place. Part of that, says AAA, is because of the Federal Reserve, again, exploring interest rate hikes in order to help curb inflation in the economy, which some fear may spring the economy into a recession. So, if that is the case, should we go into a recession, what would that mean for your price of gas at the pump? Most likely, it would lead to a dip in oil prices and a dip in demand for gas. Again, basic economics. Lower demand, the same supply, lower overall price, lower prices for you at the pump. But I guess in this case, recession, lower gas prices, pick your poison. The most expensive gas in the state of Michigan at this time remains in Marquette again this week, where prices are upwards on average of $3.67 per gallon. Not much of a change here in Metro Detroit, second in the state in terms of average gas prices on the high end. $3.64 per gallon, your average in our local area. Then closely followed by Ann Arbor, $3.61 per gallon on average this week. The most affordable prices in Michigan, you'll have to either go to the west side of the state or preferably for the best prices on average, mid-Michigan, Flint, $3.50 per gallon. Saginaw, $3.51 per gallon. As I mentioned, on the west side of the state, Grand Rapids, their gas price on average this week also at $3.51 per gallon. Great information from the Detroit News and Maisha Johnson and the team over there. You can find the full article, read more information, look even more into what's happening in the gasoline market, how that's impacting your prices as you fill up your tanks this week. CivicCenterTV.com on our local news page. Additionally, making news there today from MLive's Aaron McMahon. Many Detroit pro sports, as well as MSU and U of M college athletes, are headed into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame this fall. The annual induction ceremony will be held this September at Motor City Casino in Detroit and will feature the honoring of Michigan football star Lamar Woodley and softball legend Sierra Romero, as well as MSU football's all-time leading rusher Lorenzo White and prolific hockey goaltender Ryan Miller, as well as Detroit Pistons legend Richard "Rip" Hamilton, a champion with the going-to-work era Pistons in 2004, one of the five in the best five alive in that legendary lineup for the Pistons during that era. Also among the honorees is another pro sports legend in Metro Detroit, former Conn Smythe winner and Stanley Cup champion, former Detroit Red Wings captain Henrik Zetterberg, also going into the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame in September. Additionally, exceptional contributions made to sports and athletics in Michigan will be recognized for those not necessarily playing on a field or court or playing in the actual athletic events themselves, with legendary hockey coach Rick Comley from Lake Superior State and MSU going into the Hall of Fame, as well as beloved hockey broadcaster Doc Emmerich, sailboat racer Dawn Riley, and a pioneer of Junior A hockey in the state of Michigan, Colleen Howe, yes, the wife of the late Gordie Howe, also to be recognized at this year's ceremony happening in September. Each year, the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame inductees are determined by a combination of a vote of current and former sports journalists, sports executives, representatives from other sports halls of fame across the board, as well as a public voting campaign, getting input from sports fans like you and I each and every year right here in the state of Michigan. Again, the annual induction ceremony will be held in September. That's September 14th at Motor City Casino in Detroit. Tickets are currently available beginning as low as $25 a pop. You can find more information on how to purchase tickets and everything you need to know about this year's Michigan Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony by clicking through this article from our friends at MLive today, CivicCenterTV.com/local-news, our local news page on CivicCenterTV.com. In addition, making news today on our local news page from Bridge, Michigan's Riley Hodder, Michigan may soon become a pioneer in state tax forms. Yeah, that doesn't sound all too interesting. It's maybe something, it's still pretty early in the morning here for some of you. You may be just getting into work. You may be even just getting up and listening to us first thing in the morning and hearing about Michigan pioneering state tax forms might be something that causes a yawn, but this is for a really good cause. House Bills 4362, 4363, and 4364 would put a new line on the Michigan state tax forms asking residents if they would like to put their names onto the Michigan Organ Donor Registry, adding their name to a list of potential donors in our state and triggering the Secretary of State's office to then send them a new license that includes that heart sticker indicating their place on the donor registry. This is already something done at your local Secretary of State branch, with the question being posed when you apply for a new license or for common needs such as a vehicle registration or a title. They'll ask you too, hey, do you want to put your name on the Organ Donor Registry? You can do that simply as a one-off thing through the Secretary of State at your local branch and on their website as well. Heck, I checked the box years ago. I have the heart on my driver's license, part of the Michigan Organ Donor Registry. So why tax forms for this, and why right now? It's because organ donor registration in Michigan is down, and it's down pretty significantly. Gift of Life Michigan, who oversees the donor registry in our state, says that registration for the donor registry is growing at its slowest rate ever since it was established nearly 20 years ago in 1994. In comparison to just 5 years ago, the donor registration metrics have fallen from approximately 2/3 of all Michiganders being on the organ donor registry to about 56%. So roughly a 10% drop in just 5 years of the number of people on the organ donor registry. What that means doesn't seem like a whole lot. You think about 56%, that's over half of the state of Michigan on the organ donor registry. That seems like it's pretty good. But when you have a drop of 10%, that means significantly fewer life-saving heart, kidney, liver, eye, and other organ donations being made to people in need right now in our state after we pass on. And the need for donors is not reducing either. Just between May of last year and May of this year, Michigan hospitals, per Bridge Michigan's article, performed over 1,100 transplants of various organs as part of donations from the Michigan Organ Donor Registry. That's great, but they also had to leave over 2,500 people on the waiting list. Here in Michigan, the number of people receiving transplants in comparison to those on the waiting list is quite significant, with waitlisters nearly 5-fold more common than those who are receiving organs that they are in need of. House sponsors hope that the Senate will also pass the bill, as well as their chamber in the House, and the process of getting those pieces of legislation, those 3 bills, to the governor and signed and completed into our law by the end of the month, which would put donor registration sign-up options on tax forms for your 2024 Michigan state taxes. More information on organ donation in Michigan can be found by visiting Gift of Life Michigan's website at giftoflifemichigan.org. That's full spelling of all those words, giftoflifemichigan.org. You'll spell Michigan in full. That is not Gift of Life MI, it's giftoflifemichigan.org for more information. Finally, making headlines today on our local news page from the Oakland Press's Mike McConnell. Some fun and music is in store this weekend in Royal Oak, where the Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce will kick off a new 2-day-long music festival at Centennial Commons Park in the downtown area. The event, called Royal Oak Live, will feature free music from 2 to 8 p.m. on both Saturday and Sunday this weekend, with local and regional acts in R&B, jazz, and funk on the docket for the concerts. In addition, local artists and nonprofits will be on site for you to meet and show your support, as well as food trucks in the nearby area for you to purchase a meal and enjoy your day and enjoy some great food, great music, great activities, and fun in downtown Royal Oak. The event is expected to attract upwards of 5,000 people to the downtown Royal Oak area over the course of the weekend. If you do wish to attend, organizers from the Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce are encouraging those that may attend to park in the nearby parking deck on 11 Mile Road, just west of the Royal Oak City Library, before making your way down to Centennial Commons Park. This is also just the beginning of music at Centennial Commons this summer, with the Chamber of Commerce having taken over the summer concert series this year, which will invite musical acts from July 6th all the way through August 17th for their summer concert series. More information on both Royal Oak Live, happening this weekend, again, 2 to 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday at Centennial Commons Park in Royal Oak, as well as other events like the summer concert series through the Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce. You can visit their website, royaloakchamber.com, royaloakchamber.com. megacast.com. That is also linked in this article. If you click through, go to the Oakland Press's website, you can get a direct link to the Royal Oak Chamber's website. Otherwise, you'll have to remember royaloakchamber.com to find out more information on these and other events happening in the city of Royal Oak all throughout the summer. All these headlines are making news today on our local news page on civiccentertv.com. In addition, you'll find links to public health information from resources at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, as well as the Oakland County Health Division to keep up to date on everything you need to know about public health emergencies or other public health information, just basic stuff that you can think about and need to consider on a daily basis for yourself, for your children, for your families, and your community. And of course, as I mentioned, all those top stories each and every day. We keep those articles listed on our website. Those links stay on our website for the entire week of our show. So whether you're watching us live right now on Tuesday morning or you're watching this edition of the Megacast later on today, later on in the week, and you want to follow along with these stories, you can always do so. You can keep up to date. You can read them in full by clicking through on civiccentertv.com on our local news page. When you do so, if you have the means to do so, we would encourage you also to subscribe to these publications all across Metro Detroit and around the state of Michigan to support journalism all across the Great Lakes state. We have a great program ahead on today's edition of the Megacast. Coming up next, we'll hear from two individuals at Oakland schools about how they're inviting new people into our local school districts, helping them acclimate, especially those who are new to the United States and maybe new to speaking English in our schools. That's coming up next. Stay tuned. You'll want to see that coming up on the Megacast.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
I'm Steve Eiserman of the Detroit Red Wings, and I think every child in Michigan deserves a safe, healthy, and happy childhood. Can we build a state where children trust Michigan isn't just a name, but something our kids believe? Please support Children Trust Michigan as the voice for children and families by visiting the website to learn more.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. You can always find more information on our program and our partnering stations joining us from all across Oakland County and throughout the state of Michigan each and every day on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. It's a great resource for you to start to learn more about everything happening in your local community all across Oakland County and throughout the state of Michigan. The links to our partnering stations include ways to find more information on their original programming in your local community, whether you're in northern Oakland County, in Orion Township in Lake Orion with our friends at On TV, or in the Waterford area on the Media Network of Waterford, or our friends at Bloomfield Hills High School in the Bloomfield Hills School District at 88.1 The Biff. All of their programming and more information can be found through those links on civiccentertv.com/Megacast, where you'll also find all of our live shows, both full episodes and each individual segment on demand. So if you're not able to join us Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for our live programs, you can always find us online and watch us whenever it's convenient to you. civiccentertv.com/Megacast is where you're going to go for all of that. Well, each and every month we speak twice to people from Oakland schools about different topics in education. And as we head into the summer and we're thinking about next year, we're not necessarily thinking about things that are right away in the classroom, but we know Michigan is a place that people from all over the world flock to. It's a great place for immigrants to enjoy a new life in the United States, to start a new journey, and often it's where we see many many so-called newcomers who are coming to the United States, living here for the first time, maybe speaking English for the first time, and their kids are joining our classrooms. How do we acclimate them to our classrooms? How do we teach them like we're teaching all of our other kids in our classrooms and give them the quality education they expect when they come to the United States and when they come to Michigan, and especially when they come to our local area here in Oakland County? On a recent edition of our Oakland Schools Education Insider, I spoke to Suzanne Tui and Christina Kozlowski from Oakland Schools about all the programs that are in place through our intermediate school district in support of our local school districts to help newcomers come into our schools, acclimate to our school environments, and of course, get a great education right here in Oakland County. Let's take a look. Joining us now is Oakland Schools, who joins us each and every month, twice a month, to talk about a different topic of support that they're providing to our local school districts and individual schools and families right here in the Oakland County area. Joining us today on our Oakland Schools Education Insider is Suzanne Tui, Supervisor of Instruction and Pedagogy at Oakland Schools, and Christina Kozlowski, English Learner Consultant on today's program. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Good morning. We're happy to be here.
Glad to have both of you on today to talk about inviting new people into our school districts, those who may even be new to the United States altogether. For those that aren't familiar, explain to our audience, Suzanne, we'll begin with you, what a newcomer is, but also more importantly, when we're talking about people coming into school districts, especially internationally, what a newcomer is not.
Right. Well, newcomer is sort of an umbrella term that includes various categories of immigrant students who were born outside of the United States. So, for example, all immigrants are not necessarily English learners, as some are fluent in English, while others speak little or no English. Students identified as English learners require assistance in schools with English language acquisition. Interestingly, more than 40% of students identified as English learners are born in the United States. And in Michigan, we typically consider students newcomers when they're within their first year of schooling in the U.S.
And so these experiences, they're so varied because people come to the U.S., as you said, with maybe some experience in learning in an English-speaking environment from their past school experiences, or perhaps even coming to these school districts not knowing any single word of English as they enter the school district. And so, Tina, what are some of the common challenges, we mentioned a couple of them just now, or barriers that newcomers experience when they enter our schools for the first time?
Well, there can be a wide variety of challenges and barriers they might experience when they first arrive in the United States, basically depending on the nature of their arrival. So newcomers can be navigating a new country, culture, language, and definitely a new community. And depending on the circumstances, newcomers might have had to flee an unsafe circumstance. So they might be here as a refugee or asylee, and they may have had to leave behind family members or have lost family members due to their home situations. And then, as Suzanne said, other newcomers might have arrived under a more positive circumstance and have a support system already in place here. And so as consultants, when we're supporting schools and organizations, we often hear that language access and a sense of belonging into the new culture are the two most prominent challenges. Other challenges that it's important to know and that impact others in the community are newcomers trying to find housing, transportation, their own transportation, but also navigating our public transportation and school system transportation, employment, basic needs, locating religious institutions or common community groups, health services, both physical and mental, and then figuring out ways to connect with others around them. We also are supporting our students in finding their next long-term extensions or stay. That could be for different situations depending on the family's needs and if they're on the path to stay here for citizenship. And we really wanted to point out it's important to know our most recent arrivals are from Afghanistan and Ukraine based on the unique situations that are over there. And so these families are coming with different experiences and some trauma they may have faced on their experience in their home countries and then as they navigate our schools here.
So it seems from those two definitions of what a newcomer is and how Oakland schools and other school districts really focus on supporting these students as they're entering the classroom with a variety of different barriers, that it's not just necessarily acclimating to an American classroom or acclimating to an English-speaking classroom, but also helping to navigate those sometimes drastic cultural changes. So Suzanne, as the supervisor of instruction, what sort of guidance does Oakland Schools give to our individual school districts as they're navigating these sometimes often complicated situations that students may be coming over in, especially as was mentioned there by Christina, that students may be coming over as refugees from places like Afghanistan or Ukraine in recent years?
So as Tina is the newcomer consultant, I'm going to turn it over to her to talk through some of the specific supports that she provides to our schools and districts.
Thank you. So coming from another county, the supports in Oakland County are so robust and they expand cross county. So we welcome supporting any one of our neighboring counties as well. And in addition to the robust English learner supports, being a newcomer consultant this year, we were really able to offer specific supports for newcomer families and students. So as Suzanne said, I'm a newcomer consultant on board with the staff, and we're one of 6 counties in the state that received this specialized position based on the arrivals that we recently received in Michigan from Afghanistan and Ukraine. We offer specific newcomer supports and guidance through our English Learner Network, which we'll continue to do next year and do some deeper dive into classroom supports and community supports. And because we're part of this collaboration, we are very connected to local agencies, so Global Michigan and nonprofits who are helping resettle some of our newcomer families. And then we were able to create some new guidance documents, and particularly for Afghan and Ukrainian arrivals. And those documents have various topics that are giving some historical background to families and to teachers. They provide educational links, but also community resources and links for parents to support them in their work.
And in terms of the interventions or the supports that are provided by Oakland Schools, how do those differ, or how do those work in conjunction with those that are provided by these local school districts themselves?
I can start with that if you like. So we have a strong network where we have contacts across the county and in our different districts where we reach out, support them on a consultant basis. And then we'll also partner with some long-term projects with them. So whatever that district is looking for, we will be there to support them. And we love being out in the schools and being in the classrooms and welcoming the families alongside with our districts. Suzanne, anything to add on that?
No, I would agree. I think we have a real partnership with our districts when it comes to meeting their needs and helping them ensure that their newcomer students and families have all that they need to be successful both in school and as they transition into their new communities.
And Suzanne, continuing on with you, Suzanne Tui is the supervisor of instruction at Oakland Schools, joining us as part of our Oakland Schools Education Insider today, focusing on newcomers, or those that are immigrating into our school districts from other countries, sometimes with some English-speaking background, English-based education background, and those that may be coming in raw to the school districts for the very first time with no experience, and some of the different interventions that are provided at the county level. In terms of federal or state legislation or aid, what sort of supports are provided from our higher government positions or higher government agencies to intermediate school districts like Oakland Schools or individual school districts to help them navigate these often complicated relationships and development of bringing kids into our school districts locally?
Yeah, so our federal government has 4 foundational cases that protect the rights of English learner students and their families, starting with the Title VI Act of Civil Rights in 1964, which requires school districts to take affirmative steps to ensure students with limited English proficiency can meaningfully participate in their educational programs and services. There are 3 additional foundational cases that protect the rights of these students as well. So the first is Lau versus Nichols, which requires the districts to ensure that English learners can meaningfully participate in all educational programs and services, both core and supplemental. In 1982, the Supreme Court ruled that states cannot constitutionally deny students a free public education based on their immigration status, and that is just as important now as it was in 1982. And then finally, they also, in 1981, the Fifth Circuit Court established a 3-part test to evaluate the adequacy of a district's program for English learners. And so this is where we do a lot of technical assistance with our districts in collaboration from the Michigan Department of Education, and help to make sure that our districts understand these obligations, that they know what that means as it's translated into real life with our students and families every day. And so some of the work that we do in collaboration with the Michigan Department of Education supports the districts in getting programs that meet these requirements under federal law and also meet the unique needs of their student populations local to their districts.
And Tina, also, so much of what goes into acclimating these newcomers to our local school districts is acclimating them to the community. So in terms of what local citizens can do, what are often some important steps that can be taken by the communities themselves, whether it's within that individual school environment, the school district, the town or city or wherever that these students are coming into, to help bridge those gaps that may be there, sometimes quite wide, between these newcomers and their families and these local communities?
You know, we really appreciate this question because we all are here to support and welcome our new families. So first, just being open-minded. You know, we believe diversity enriches all of us. So being neighborly, welcoming your new families, you know, body language and nonverbal cues are so important. And quite honestly, we have such advanced technology. There's so many apps out there. So communication is more accessible than it ever was before. And that's both written and oral. So, you know, being open to exploring that. Our newcomer families are really looking for some patience and some genuine concern in welcoming them and helping them belong to the community they have moved into. You know, at Oakland schools, just our school districts alone, we have nearly 120 different languages. And that's pretty amazing because that's only the communities that have school-age children. So I would imagine in our county, we have far more languages than even that. And so that richness of our community is so important. So if you are connected to a school or a district, every district has a coordinator, director, teacher. A lot of them have family liaisons that directly work with these families. So there's opportunities for you to connect, welcome them on a school basis, and really get to know what community organizations the school is already partnering with.
Yeah, our nation is a nation of many different cultures. It's historically been a nation that has been inviting to some extent to so many different people from different walks of life. And they've played an important role in building this country and building our local communities as well. And so, Suzanne, newcomers have been a big part of that as they've developed their education right here in the U.S. after immigrating from other parts of the world. Can you talk about some of the contributions that have played important roles in our society over the years that have been contributed to society by students who have been newcomers themselves?
Yes, so certainly in our schools, the very presence of newcomer students provides a rich opportunity for all students to expand their cultural knowledge and their capacity to participate fully in a multicultural democracy and engage with an increasingly interconnected world. When students attempt to communicate with, listen to, and learn from peers who have experiences and perspectives different from their own, they expand their knowledge base and at the same time gain the necessary intercommunication skills that are essential to success in their higher education. Newcomers and immigrants have contributed richly in the areas of scientific and economic advancements, as well as adding to the vibrancy of our country's literature and the arts. So interestingly, in 2009, 8 of the 9 Nobel Prize winners in science were Americans, and 5 of those 8 were born outside of the US. Foreign-born Americans won more Nobel Prizes that year than those who won from all other nations combined. The Partnership for a New American Economy said that in 2011, immigrants started 28% of all U.S. businesses, despite accounting for just 12.9% of our population. And between 2006 and 2012, 44% of new tech startups in Silicon Valley were founded by immigrants. Nationally, 40% of Fortune 500 companies were founded by either first or second generation immigrants. And as we know, many authors and artists contribute to the rich vibrancy of our artistic community. Chinua Achebe, renowned Nigerian author of Things Fall Apart and numerous other writings, immigrated to the United States as a university professor and helped to solidify the presence of the African voice in the field of literature. So clearly, newcomers have played historically and will continue to play into the future an important role in our society.
Before we wrap up, any last thoughts or any more information on resources that may be available to newcomer families or even to already present families in our communities to help our newcomers as they're coming in? Tina, let's begin with you.
Sure. So we are providing a lot of resources at Oakland schools. So as mentioned, we have our Afghan document and Ukrainian document. We have various guidance documents. Nationally, the United States Department of Education actually has a newcomer toolkit that they are actively keeping up to date. And then we often visit the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service website. That contains all things immigrant and can help you know which families are coming in, which to expect, and how you might be able to better serve them in your community. And being tied to this diverse school environment that we are so proud to serve, and in conjunction with a lot of the recommendations coming from the Department of Ed, we do believe, in accordance to the White House Task Force on New Americans, we really wanted to bring attention to that this idea of newcomers, them bringing a wealth of knowledge and experience and that global perspective that Suzanne mentioned to our schools in the U.S. What makes us unique, and we really value their cultural backgrounds, linguistic resources, and the prior knowledge they bring to our classrooms. And we just want to leave with that idea of when schools recognize their assets and provide purposeful academic and social emotional supports, that our newcomers are going to achieve at very high levels. And we are thrilled to be able to serve the schools in the county in that way.
And Suzanne, anything else that we should know today, or our community should know about what's available through Oakland schools to our newcomers?
Yeah, so through Oakland schools, we support the teachers, the educators in the local districts and the programs that serve them. And we're very excited to announce here first that we have a multicultural family night planned for next year, where we want to highlight and showcase all of the wonderful multicultural, multilingual students and families in the county, and open to the community to come in and get to know our students and families and share some highlights of their school experiences. So more to come on that, but that's anticipated to be a springtime event and a first-time event for Oakland schools that we're thrilled to host.
Yeah, really important to help these families acclimate to our local area. They do play a big role in our communities, as well as in the development of our own kids already in our communities as they're expanding their global horizons and learning about different cultures and people from all different walks of life. Christina, Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks. We appreciate the opportunity.
Always glad to have our friends at Oakland Schools join us. They do so much in our local communities to support our local school districts, and therefore support your kids and all of our kids in our classrooms all across Oakland County. We'll take a break on the Megacast. On the other side, one of over 350 charities and nonprofits supported on the Share Detroit platform will join us. Stay tuned. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Hello, nose. My nose knows is when somebody uses the bathroom. Mom, Polly didn't flush. Ooh, I smell cookies.
I smell an A+.
How could my nose be running when it stays on my face?
Our noses know if those sniffles are just a cold, allergies, or COVID-19. So swab it. Test it. It's good to know.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick.
The virus will die.
It will be easy to not catch it.
Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer.
Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine.
To keep safe and strong.
Be like happy, having fun everywhere.
Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. You can always stay up to date with us and our partnering stations across Oakland County and throughout the state of Michigan, and find us on demand on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. Joining us now is one of over 350 charities and nonprofits supported on the Share Detroit platform. Latitia McCree-Thomas is the Senior Vice President of Communications and Marketing with the YMCA of Metropolitan Detroit and joins us now on the program. Latitia, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about the YMCA and all the different programs that are available for people of all ages at the Y this summer all across our local area. For those that may not be familiar with the YMCA and all the different various programs and recreational programs and other programs that are available through the YMCA, tell us a little bit about the history of this organization and the services that they're providing throughout Metro Detroit.
Well, the YMCA, we just celebrated our 170th anniversary last year. So YMCA was founded September 27th, 1852. So the YMCA of Metropolitan Detroit has been serving the Tri-County area for over 170 years.
And among the services that are provided, of course, we know about the recreational activities that are available there, gyms and other recreational activities that are available through the YMCA. But what other programs are also available to the public for those of all different ages at the Y?
So the YMCA is a holistic family service. If you think of us as a community service organization, so we have programs from cradle to career through your retirement years, like all ages. So we have, like, a mom can come work out and her child could be in child watch. We have summer day camp programs. We do swim lessons. We have youth development programs. We have food and nutrition programs. It's just very comprehensive.
And so as people are considering maybe becoming a member of the YMCA, what are some of the different benefits that come along with being a member of your organization and then having access to those resources?
So one of the things that's a great opportunity about being a member of the Y is that you're talking about for less than $3 a day, you have access to the wellness center, the swimming pool, group exercise classes, child watch, discounts on summer camp, discounts on residence camp. So when you are a member of the YMCA, so you don't have, most of our classes are included in your annual membership. And if anything that's not included, you get a significant discount that the community at large does not have access to.
And in terms of those other initiatives, those other resources that are provided, you mentioned the YMCA of Metro Detroit is more of a community service organization than necessarily being a recreational organization. You provide a number of different services, a number of different classes and initiatives.
Right. So we are a recreational organization, but we don't limit ourselves. We're not just about the treadmill. We're not just about the track. Like you said, we teach life-saving skills. We have fee-for-service swim classes, but then we also teach over 1,000 children every year how to be safe around water so that they don't drown. We also provide over 100,000 meals to children to make sure that they have access to healthy food. We provide summer job and career exploration and training to hundreds of young people. We provide summer camp. We provide a host of programs for children. So, for example, if you're familiar with the Girls on a Run program, that's a youth development program. It uses running to engage young people to talk about adolescent development for both boys and girls. And so that's one of the programs we are always looking for volunteers to help serve as coaches.
You can find more information on the YMCA of Metropolitan Detroit, all of its local locations, as well as the many services and ways you can get involved by visiting their website, ymcadetroit.org, or visiting sharedetroit.org and learn more information about the YMCA of Metro Detroit by searching for YMCA of Metropolitan Detroit in their Find a Nonprofit section. Among some of the programs that are available for kids this summer. They're out of school or they're about to be out of school, maybe even this week, and have opportunities not just for summer camps, but also for those that are maybe of older age or in their teenage years, approaching their high school career and exploring employment opportunities. Tell us about the Summer Youth Employment Initiative and how that's providing a benefit to our local kids.
We have two programs that address this. One is our summer camp counselors. We have over 71% of our summer day camp counselors are under the age of 20. They're between 18 and 24 years old. And an incredible opportunity this year, we were able to provide people with hiring bonuses and retention bonuses. So a summer camp counselor that's 18 to 24 years old has the opportunity to earn up to $1,000. Now, the hiring bonus is over, but the retention bonus is still in play. So if someone joins our summer camp staff team before the summer's over and they're still an employee in August, they could get another $500. And then the other thing is we're hiring lifeguards. And so you only need to be 16 to be a lifeguard. So 16 and up, and it's an amazing program that teaches incredible life skills. And then in addition to that, we are part of Grow Detroit's Young Talent, where we take high school students and we prepare them for careers as one of the lead partners, and over 250 young people are in that program. So you're talking about over 500 young people are in the YMCA in the summer getting essential career skills.
And on top of that, they're helping kids in their own communities, in some cases, develop some of those skills at earlier ages too. Tell us about the summer camp programs and what are some of the camps that are available too for young kids in their communities.
So we have 3 different types of camps, and we're all over the Tri-County area. So we have summer day camp where parents drop their children off each morning and pick them up in the afternoon. Cool thing about that summer camp program is that you get before and after care are included in the summer camp pricing. So that's awesome. And so all of our YMCA locations have summer camp. Some are at our YMCAs and some of them are at other community sites. In addition, we have overnight and residential camp. Those are camps where children sleep over and they can register for a week at a time. We have 2 overnight camps, one in Holly, Michigan, which is very close. It's right here in Oakland County. And then we also have another camp in Nisqually and Oscoda, which is about a 4-hour drive from metropolitan Detroit. And so both of those camps are taking registrations right now. And then we have another opportunity for middle school and high school students called Bold and Gold, which is an outdoor adventure camp where they're not staying in cabins. They're actually out in the wilderness in tents. And you can learn more about all these programs at YMCADetroit.org. And never let the price discourage you. If you see a price, you please contact our YMCA. We have lots of scholarships and financial assistance to assist families, and particularly with the Bold and Gold program, which is the wilderness camps.
Latitia, with about a minute left, I want to give you some time to talk about the volunteer opportunities, too, that are available through the YMCA.
So make sure everybody gets it. Go to YMCADetroit.org and select the Serve tab. And you can get opportunities. Right now, we're looking for coaches to serve in the Girls on the Run. And then we're also looking for youth sports coaches. Then other thing is you can contact any of the local YMCAs and ask them how you may assist. One of the other things, we always are looking for board members to serve on our advisory boards at the Y. These are people who help the Y think through the future of the organization and how we better serve the community.
Over 150 years of service to communities all throughout the United States, including here in metropolitan Detroit. Latitia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Always glad to have our local organizations on to tell us about all of their great services. YMCADetroit.org is their website to find more information. You can join their organization by clicking their join link, give to the organization, support their programs through their give link, and serve and volunteer, as Latitia mentioned, by clicking on the serve link, YMCADetroit.org, or you can go to sharedetroit.org and also look at more information on this and 350 plus other charities and nonprofits in the Metro Detroit area. That is going to do it for today's edition of the program. We always thank our guests for joining us each and every day and giving us our time to keep you informed every single morning. And also thank you for joining us every day, whether you're joining us live from 10 to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, live to tape in local community TV and radio stations that join us every single day, or on demand on our website. We always appreciate you tuning into the program. Huge thank you as well to our crew crew, Jared Clark at the studio of My Michigan TV, our co-flagship, and of course the man running the show, Calvin Brown at Master Control at Civic Center TV, our director today and every day on the Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft. Until next time, take care of each other, and we'll see you very soon.